Have you ever stopped to wonder how to become the best version of yourself in relationships? It's a question many may ask because deep down we all yearn for affection, respect, and to be genuinely valued by those around us. But how do we achieve this? How do we earn genuine admiration, not just for superficial qualities or accomplishments, but for who we truly are at our core? Imagine every relationship as an adventure, and you are the explorer of your own self. You want to uncover the hidden treasures within your soul and share them with others. But to do that, you need a map of path leading to understanding, connection, and ultimately love. Today I will guide you in discovering your true value in a relationship based on 9 ancient Stoic philosophical lessons. So pay attention, for these are not mere empty pieces of advice you often hear. It's about empowering yourself in ways you may not have imagined. Get ready to shed light on the mysteries of cultivating a life filled with love and meaningful relationships, ones that are built on mutual respect and inner strength. Now let's get started. Lesson 1. Understanding your true worth. So how does Stoicism relate to understanding your value in relationships? Stoics believed in focusing on what we have power over, and guess what? Your self-value is entirely within your grasp. It's not about how many likes you get on social media or if someone shows interest in you. It's about how you see and appreciate yourself. Picture this. Imagine you're a gemstone. Not everyone recognizes the worth of a rare gem, right? Some might stroll past without realizing its significance. But that doesn't diminish the gem's value. It remains precious, rare, and one of a kind. That's you. Your value doesn't diminish just because someone overlooks it. Let's be honest. We've all experienced rejection and felt inadequate, especially in today's world where everyone appears to be thriving. But here's the real deal with a Stoic perspective. Your value isn't dependent on someone else's validation. It's connected to how you conduct yourself, your principles, your deeds. Are you compassionate? Are you truthful? Are you living in a manner that aligns with your values? That's where your genuine worth resides. The Stoics believed in reflecting on oneself. So, pause for a moment to consider your qualities, not just the obvious ones, but the deeper aspects, what truly sets you apart. Are you empathetic, strong-willed, a reliable friend? These characteristics form the core of your worth. And here's the key. Can you truly understand and appreciate these qualities? It alters how you engage in relationships. You won't stand for nonsense, not because you're arrogant, but because you hold yourself in high esteem. Here's a simple Stoic practice for you. The next time you feel underestimated, instead of letting self-doubt take over, ask yourself, what virtues and values do I bring to the table? Remind yourself of those. It's not about bragging. It's about quietly acknowledging to yourself that you hold worth regardless of external validation. It's like Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic emperor, once said, "You have control over your mind, not external events." Understand this, and you'll find strength. So, in relationships, it's about finding strength in your own value, your self-worth, whether or not others recognize it. Always keep in mind, understanding your worth isn't a one-off event. It's a continuous journey, a practice that evolves over time. It's about waking up every day and acknowledging to yourself that you have value, not because of anyone else's opinion, but because of the inherent qualities that make you who you are. Lesson 2. Present yourself with dignity. Now, before you start picturing a Stoic as this stern, unsmiling figure from ancient times, let me set the record straight. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or being indifferent. It's about understanding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And guess what? The way you present yourself deserves your energy. So let's chat about what it means to present yourself with dignity in relationships. Have you ever noticed that sometimes we go to great lengths to impress someone only to lose sight of who we truly are? We change the way we dress, speak, all in hopes of gaining approval. But here's the key point, and this is where our calm and wise perspective comes in. Your self-respect isn't tied to your clothing style or the trendy spots you frequent. It's about how you present yourself, the things you do, and the decisions you make. Imagine you're in a classroom observing two students giving presentations. One student is flashy, using big words and gestures to impress the audience, while the other student is composed and speaks confidently without any pretense. Each student, do you think, makes a lasting impression? It's often the one who is genuine and comfortable in their own skin, isn't it? This highlights the importance of presenting oneself with dignity. The Stoics, known for their philosophy of self-control and virtue, emphasized the significance of living honestly and respecting oneself. So how does this apply to dating today? It's straightforward. Be authentically yourself. If you adore diving into books, embrace it. If you have a strong passion for something, let it show. It's not about pretending to be someone else. It's about feeling at ease and self-assured in who you are, understanding that you are valuable just as you are. And here's another important point: treating yourself with respect. The way you treat yourself establishes the bar for how others will treat you. If you're always criticizing yourself, you're essentially saying it's all right for others to do the same. However, when you respect yourself, value your time, energy, and emotions, you're making a bold statement. I deserve respect, and I expect to be treated accordingly. Think about what Epictetus, a wise Stoic philosopher, once said. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In relationships, it's not only about your appearance or words, it's about your responses, your demeanor, in various situations. Are you reacting with desperation or dignity? Are you sacrificing your principles to blend in? Or are you staying true to yourself, even if it means standing alone? This doesn't require perfection. We're all human with our flaws and awkward times. What matters is how you deal with those moments. Do you fall apart under pressure, or do you stay strong, learn, and keep going? Let's take a moment to reflect. How can we begin to show ourselves more dignity? It could involve setting clear boundaries or refusing things that don't match our values. It might also mean treating ourselves with more compassion and respect. When you view yourself as worthy of respect, others will begin to see it too. Lesson 3. The art of nonverbal communication. Let us be honest, words are cheap. Any man can say the right thing, especially in the early stages of a relationship. But over time, women stop listening so much to what you say and start paying closer attention to how you carry yourself. Because your actions, your energy, and most of all your nonverbal communication, these are what truly reveal your value. Think about it. Before a single word is spoken, your presence already speaks. How you enter a room, how you stand, how you hold eye contact, how you move your hands. Even the rhythm of your breathing says something about who you are. Whether you are grounded or anxious, whether you are confident or unsure, whether you are living from your own center or seeking external approval. Now, here is why this matters. Feminine energy is deeply tuned in to the nonverbal. It picks up on subtleties most men are unaware of. You may be speaking calmly, but if your posture is slouched, if your shoulders are tight, if your gaze avoids hers, she will sense it, and no amount of clever words will override that signal. This is why cultivating the art of nonverbal communication is essential. It begins with your posture. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And your body reflects the state of your mind. When your thoughts are clear and strong, your body naturally holds itself with dignity. shoulders back, chest open, chin level, movements deliberate. Eye contact is another powerful signal. Many men either avoid it, signaling insecurity, or overdo it, trying to dominate. The right eye contact comes from presence, not force. It holds a quiet strength, one that says, "I see you, and I am unshaken." Just by maintaining this kind of eye contact, you communicate volumes without a word. Then there is your voice. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Is your tone calm and steady, or rushed and apologetic? A man who speaks slowly, clearly, with intention, naturally commands attention. Women are drawn to this energy because it speaks of inner composure. Your movements also matter. Are you fidgeting, adjusting, seeking comfort, or are your gestures purposeful and controlled? The man who can remain still, who moves with ease and confidence, projects stability, and feminine energy responds to that. Let me share an example. One of my clients, Robert, had been struggling in dating for years. He knew all the right things to say, but women often described him as nice, but something is missing. When we worked together, I noticed right away his nonverbal communication was not aligned with his words. His posture was closed, his gaze would drift, his voice lacked weight. After working on these subtle elements, he did not change a single word in what he said. But suddenly women responded differently. They leaned in, they listened, because now they were responding to who he was being, not just what he was saying. This is the art of nonverbal communication. When aligned with your inner strength, it becomes effortless. You no longer need to impress with words. Your presence speaks for you. So how do you cultivate this? Start with awareness. Pay attention to your body. Practice grounding yourself. Slow your breath. Notice your posture. Maintain steady eye contact. Let your voice settle and move with purpose. Over time, these will become natural. They will flow from who you are, not from any technique. Because here is the truth: a man who can communicate deep value without saying a word is rare, and rare is attractive. If you are ready to embody this quiet strength, type this in the comments. My presence speaks louder than words. And stay tuned, the next lesson will show you how to anchor this even deeper. Lesson 4. Be ready to walk away. This lesson may be one of the hardest for many men to truly embody. Be ready to walk away. It sounds simple. But when emotions get involved, when the stakes feel high, when you are invested in someone, walking away feels anything but easy. And yet this very ability is what sets apart men who are truly respected from those who are endlessly tested and taken for granted. Here is the truth. A man who is unwilling to walk away communicates one thing: neediness. No matter what words he says, no matter how composed he tries to appear, if underneath there is fear of losing her, she will feel it. Feminine energy is highly attuned to this. And once she senses that you are too attached to stay true to yourself, the dynamic shifts. Her respect lowers, the tests increase, and attraction begins to fade. Why? Because a woman wants to feel that you choose her, not that you need her. There is a profound difference between the two. A man who chooses her is grounded in his own worth. He values himself first. He is not afraid of loss because he knows his life will remain full and purposeful no matter what. A man who needs her, however, places her above his own center, and in doing so, he weakens himself in her eyes. Now, how does this relate to Stoic wisdom? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." The Stoic man practices this daily. He does not cling, he does not chase. He appreciates what is present, but remains detached from outcomes. This detachment is not coldness, it is strength. It is the knowledge that no external relationship defines his worth. In relationships, this shows up in very practical ways. When you are ready to walk away, you no longer tolerate poor behavior. You do not negotiate your self-respect. You set clear boundaries and you enforce them. If those boundaries are crossed repeatedly, you do not argue endlessly or beg for change. You calmly step back. You are willing to leave not out of anger but out of deep respect for yourself. One of my clients, Daniel, struggled with this for years. He would get into relationships where he constantly gave more than he received. He tolerated disrespect, thinking that patience would win her over. But instead, the more he tolerated, the worse things became. When he finally learned to embody this lesson, when he truly became ready to walk away, everything shifted. He no longer had to force respect. It was given to him naturally, because now he respected himself enough to leave if necessary. Being ready to walk away changes how you show up in every interaction. It gives you calm confidence. You are no longer afraid to speak your truth. You do not overcompensate to keep her interested. You are no longer emotionally dependent on her approval. And this paradoxically makes you far more attractive. Because here is what most men do not realize: women are drawn to men who have options. Men who can walk away if needed. It shows strength. It shows clarity. It shows that you are living from abundance, not scarcity. So ask yourself, are you truly ready to walk away if your values are compromised? If not, why? Where is your sense of self still too attached to outcome? Because the man who can answer this with honesty and live accordingly is the man who earns lasting respect and desire. If you are ready to embody this level of inner strength, type this in the comments: I am willing to walk away. And keep watching. The next lesson will show you how to deepen your presence even further. Lesson 5. Setting boundaries silently. This lesson is one of the most powerful, yet often the most misunderstood: setting boundaries silently. Many men think that setting boundaries means delivering long speeches or issuing ultimatums. But in truth, the strongest boundaries are the ones you do not need to verbalize over and over. They are communicated through your actions, your presence, and the quiet standards you hold for yourself. Let us think about this. Words alone rarely change behavior. You can tell someone your boundaries 1,000 times, but if your actions do not reflect them, they will not be respected. On the other hand, when you live your boundaries consistently, when you calmly enforce them without drama, people feel it, and they adjust accordingly. This is especially true in relationships. Feminine energy is far more responsive to your nonverbal signals than to your words. If you tolerate poor behavior, inconsistency, or disrespect, even while verbally saying otherwise, the message you send is clear: my boundaries are weak. But when you hold your frame silently, when you quietly remove your attention, your presence, or your time, when a boundary is crossed, you communicate strength. And that strength commands respect. Here is where Stoic philosophy gives us a key insight. Epictetus wrote, "Do not explain your philosophy, embody it." The same applies to boundaries. You do not need to explain endlessly. You do not need to seek understanding or validation. You simply live your truth, and your actions speak louder than any explanation. One of my clients, Mark, used to struggle with this. Whenever a woman he dated behaved poorly, canceling plans last minute, showing disrespect, testing him, he would launch into long discussions, trying to make her see why her behavior was wrong. The more he talked, the more the disrespect continued. Why? Because his actions were not aligned. He was still rewarding the behavior with his time and attention. When Mark finally shifted, when he stopped explaining and started living his standards, calmly withdrawing, when a boundary was crossed, the dynamic changed. Without needing to say much, the behavior improved, because now his actions were speaking for him. Setting boundaries silently also protects your frame. You avoid coming across as reactive or needy. You show that you value yourself enough to walk away when needed without needing to seek her approval. And this paradoxically deepens attraction, because it communicates true self-respect. Let us look at some simple ways this shows up. If a woman speaks to you with disrespect, you do not argue. You simply disengage. If she tests your patience, you remain calm, but you remove your energy if needed. If she crosses a boundary repeatedly, you step back without drama and let your absence speak. Over time, this consistent behavior builds a reputation. You become known as a man whose standards are not to be played with. And remember, boundaries are not about control. They are about self-respect. You do not set boundaries to manipulate others. You set them to honor yourself. And this ultimately is what earns lasting respect from women. So ask yourself, are you living your boundaries silently? Are you showing through your actions what you will and will not tolerate? Because the man who does this consistently becomes rare, and rare is attractive. If you are ready to embody this kind of quiet strength, type this in the comments: "My actions define my boundaries." And stay tuned. The next lesson will show you how to amplify this presence even more. Lesson 6. Actions speak louder than words. You have heard this saying countless times, but when it comes to relationships, few men truly live it. Actions speak louder than words. It is easy to talk about values, standards, loyalty, strength. It is far harder to embody those things in your everyday behavior. And women, whether they realize it consciously or not, are always watching for the difference. Here is the reality. In today's world, where words are cheap and appearances can be easily crafted, a woman does not trust what you say at face value. She trusts what you consistently do. If you tell her you value honesty, but you bend the truth when it suits you, she sees that. If you claim you respect yourself, but you tolerate poor treatment, she feels that. If you say you are disciplined, but your habits show otherwise, she knows. This is why Stoic wisdom teaches us to live our philosophy, not just speak it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The man who quietly lives his values, whose actions match his words, becomes rare. And rare is magnetic. Think about this in practical terms. You can tell a woman all day that you have boundaries, but if you repeatedly compromise them to avoid conflict, your actions reveal the truth. You can say you are focused on your mission, but if you constantly rearrange your life to chase her attention, she will not believe you. You can speak of being emotionally strong, but if you react with neediness under pressure, the mask falls away. One of my clients, Chris, struggled with this. He had read many books on masculinity and stoicism. He could recite all the right ideas. But when it came to relationships, he still sought approval through words. He would explain his values, his goals, his boundaries, yet in moments that mattered, he would fold. The women he dated felt the gap between his words and actions, and attraction faded. When Chris began focusing on alignment, ensuring that his behavior reflected his philosophy, everything changed. He stopped explaining so much. He let his consistency speak for him. His presence grew stronger, quieter, more grounded. And suddenly the same women who had lost interest began leaning in, because now there was no gap. Who he was and what he did were one and the same. Here is why this matters so deeply. The feminine craves congruence. Women are naturally drawn to men whose actions flow effortlessly from their inner world. It signals strength, authenticity, and stability. In contrast, inconsistency breeds doubt. The moment she feels your words are not backed by action, trust erodes. And without trust, desire fades. This is why small daily behaviors matter more than grand gestures. It is not about dramatic statements. It is about the way you show up day after day. Do you follow through on your commitments? Do you maintain your standards under pressure? Do you keep your word even when no one is watching? These are the things she notices. These are what truly demonstrate your worth. And this is the Stoic path: to embody, not to proclaim. To live with quiet integrity. Because in a world full of noise, a man whose actions consistently reflect his values becomes a beacon. He does not need to persuade. His life speaks for him. So ask yourself, are your actions aligned with your words? Do you live your values or merely talk about them? Because the man who consistently lives this truth will always stand out. If you are ready to embody this alignment, type this in the comments: "My actions define me," and stay tuned. The next lesson will take this to an even deeper level. Lesson 7. Cultivating healthy skepticism. In today's world, it is easy for a man to get swept up in appearances, charm, and sweet words, especially in relationships. Many women know how to say the right things, project the right image, tell a story that appeals to a man's emotions, and too many men fall for it without question. But a Stoic man knows better. He cultivates healthy skepticism, not to be cynical, not to push people away, but to remain grounded in truth. Let us be clear, this is not about distrust or bitterness. It is about discernment. It is about keeping your eyes open. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth." And it is the truth that we must always seek, not fantasy, not illusion. When it comes to relationships, this means being able to see past appearances, to not be blinded by beauty or words alone, to watch actions over time, to notice patterns, to remain calm when others are trying to stir emotion, and to always ask yourself what is really happening here. One of my clients, Eric, used to rush headfirst into relationships. If a woman seemed charming, if there was chemistry, he would ignore all red flags. He wanted to believe the best. And every time this led to disappointment. When Eric began practicing healthy skepticism, he learned to slow down, to observe, to ask questions internally, to remain curious but not naive. The result: he started attracting higher quality women and avoided painful entanglements. So why is this so powerful? Because the feminine respects a man who is not easily fooled, a man who can see through flattery, who does not get lost in surface attraction, who remains grounded in reality. This kind of man is rare, and that rarity makes him attractive. It also protects your frame. When you do not buy into every story, when you observe carefully, you avoid unnecessary drama, you maintain emotional control. And this calm presence draws women in, because they sense that you are not here to be manipulated, you are here to live in truth. Let us take an example. Suppose a woman tests you with jealousy games. Do you react emotionally? Do you chase her for reassurance? Or do you stay calm, recognizing the test for what it is? A man with healthy skepticism does not fall into emotional traps. He watches, he understands, and he responds with clarity. Or imagine a situation where someone is speaking highly of you. Do you immediately take it at face value, or do you ask yourself, why are they saying this? Is it genuine? Is there another motive? The Stoic man questions, but without paranoia. He simply stays aware. And here is the key. This skepticism is not cold. It is not harsh. It is balanced with warmth and openness. You can still enjoy connection, still feel emotions, but you do not lose yourself in them. You remain anchored. In relationships, this creates a powerful dynamic. Women feel safe around a man who sees clearly. They trust him more because they know he is not led blindly by emotion. He brings stability. And stability is deeply attractive. So ask yourself, are you cultivating healthy skepticism? Are you observing more than reacting? Are you seeking truth over comfort? Because the man who does this consistently stands apart. If you are ready to live with this level of awareness, type this in the comments, I seek the truth, and stay tuned. The next lesson will show you how to deepen this even further. Lesson 8. Saying no with confidence. Few skills demonstrate a man's inner strength and self-worth more clearly than his ability to say no. And not just say no, but say it with calm, unwavering confidence. You see, many men today struggle with this. They hesitate. They avoid conflict. They say yes when their gut screams no, all to avoid disappointing others or losing favor. But every time you do this, you chip away at your own self-respect. And over time, others sense this weakness. In relationships, this dynamic is even more pronounced. Women respect a man who knows his limits, who does not bend to every request, who holds his own frame even in the face of feminine beauty, charm, or emotional pressure. When a man lacks the courage to say no, it signals insecurity. It communicates that he values approval more than his own truth. And this is where attraction begins to fade. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is the Stoic mindset in action: to live with clarity, to honor what is right for you regardless of how it is received. Let us break this down further. Saying no with confidence is not about being cold or harsh. It is about alignment. It is about knowing who you are, what matters to you, and where your boundaries lie. And then honoring that with calm strength. No need for apology, no need for long explanations, just a clear, respectful no. One of my clients, James, used to struggle deeply with this. In every relationship, he would find himself overgiving, overextending. He said yes to every favor, yes to every plan, yes even when exhausted or when it compromised his own priorities. Why? Because deep down he feared rejection. He believed that to be liked or loved, he had to comply. But here is the truth: the more James said yes when he should have said no, the less respect he received. Women sensed the weakness, the neediness behind his compliance, and attraction faded. When James began practicing saying no calmly, without anger, without apology, everything changed. He felt stronger, more grounded, and women responded with deeper respect and attraction. Why? Because confidence is felt. It is not in the words alone, but in the energy behind them. A man who can say no with ease communicates that he values himself, that he will not betray his truth for approval. And this is powerful. In practice, this shows up in many ways. It could be a request to change your plans last minute. Do you comply even when it costs you? Or do you calmly say, "I cannot," and maintain your priorities? It could be emotional tests. Do you cave in to avoid discomfort? Or do you hold your ground, allowing her to feel your strength? It is also in how you manage your time. A man who says yes to everything dilutes his presence. He becomes scattered, unfocused. But a man who guards his time, who says no when needed, shows that his energy is valuable, that he chooses where to invest it. Stoicism teaches us to act from reason, not emotion, to choose what is right over what is easy. And saying no is often the harder path. It may trigger discomfort, it may disappoint, but every time you choose to honor your truth, you grow stronger. You build inner integrity. Now, some men fear that saying no will push women away, but in reality, the opposite often happens. Healthy women are drawn to men with clear boundaries. A man who says no when appropriate creates a container of trust. She knows where she stands with him. She feels his strength. and this fosters deeper attraction. Think of it this way: saying yes out of fear is not kindness, it is self-abandonment. True strength lies in knowing your limits and honoring them, and this inspires respect. So, how can you begin? First, get clear on your values and priorities. Know what matters to you. Second, pause before responding. Give yourself space to choose rather than reacting. Third, practice small no's daily. The more you do, the stronger your boundary muscle becomes. And remember, saying no is not rejection. It is alignment. It is choosing what honors your truth. And the man who lives this way becomes rare, and rare is magnetic. If this resonates with you, type this in the comments: I honor my no. And stay tuned. The next lesson will help you amplify this strength even further. Lesson 9. Never chase, always value. If there is one lesson that separates the grounded masculine man from the average, it is this: never chase, always value. On the surface it sounds obvious, but in practice it is one of the most common traps men fall into. And let us be honest, the temptation is real. When you meet a woman who excites you, who sparks that fire inside, the natural instinct is to want more time, more connection, more of her energy. And when those feelings take over, many men slip into chasing. They begin texting too often, adjusting their schedules to accommodate hers, giving more and more attention, hoping to win her over. But here is the problem. The moment you start chasing, you subtly communicate one thing: that you place her above your own mission, your own rhythm of life. And once this dynamic is set, attraction begins to erode. Why? Because feminine energy responds to grounded masculine presence, not pursuit driven by need. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your thoughts are centered on how do I get her, you are already off-center. The Stoic man does not chase. He lives with purpose. He allows attraction to develop naturally through mutual respect and curiosity, not through force. Let us break this down further. Chasing is an outward expression of inward scarcity. It says, I do not fully value myself, so I need to earn her attention. And here is the paradox. The more you chase, the more value you lose in her eyes, because the frame is flipped. You are no longer the man of purpose she is drawn to. You become the man trying to win approval. Now you might think, but should I not show interest? Of course you should. Healthy interest is natural, but interest is not the same as chasing. Interest is grounded. It is expressed through calm, measured action. It respects your own time, your own mission. Chasing, on the other hand, is frantic. It seeks validation. It puts her on a pedestal, and it suffocates attraction. One of my clients, Paul, experienced this firsthand. A successful entrepreneur, confident in business, but in dating, the moment he liked a woman, he would over-pursue. Constant messages, elaborate plans, dropping other priorities. And inevitably, the women he liked most would pull away. When Paul and I began working together, I asked him a simple question: what would it look like if you valued your time more than her approval? That shift changed everything. He began pacing himself, letting her come toward him, staying committed to his work, his gym, his friends, regardless of where things stood with her. The result: the same women who had once pulled away now leaned in, because here is the secret. Attraction grows in space, not in pressure. A woman must have room to wonder, to pursue, to invest. When you chase, you rob her of that opportunity. You turn what could have been a dance into a one-sided pursuit. And this is why the Stoic mindset is so powerful. The Stoic man lives unattached to outcome. He does not need a particular woman to validate his worth. He enjoys connection, but he remains centered. He knows that his mission comes first, that no relationship will ever replace his purpose. So, How do you embody this? First, live your purpose. Your work, your goals, your health, your tribe, these remain non-negotiable. No woman should become the center of your life. Second, pace the interaction. Let things unfold naturally. If she invests, you match her. If she pulls back, you hold your frame. You do not chase. Third, watch your inner dialogue. Are you thinking, how do I win her? Shift it to, how do I stay grounded in my value? That mindset shift alone will transform how you show up. And remember, women are highly attuned to this energy. A man who lives with calm, non-needy presence is rare, and rare is magnetic. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself first, you naturally draw in women who respect you, and you filter out those who would play games. I will leave you with this. Never chase what you cannot respect. And never forget that your greatest value is not in your pursuit, but in your presence. If this resonates with you, type in the comments, I lead, I do not chase. And that brings us to the end of this video. Remember, these lessons are not just ideas to think about, they are tools to live by. The man who embodies them, who practices them daily, will not only command more respect and attraction, but will move through life with greater clarity and inner strength. If you found this valuable, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any of the new videos we release every single day. And if you are ready to go deeper, to truly develop the mindset of a Stoic man in both life and relationships, I invite you to join our members-only Stoic community. Inside you will find advanced lessons, discussions, and a brotherhood of like-minded men walking this path together. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and your presence here, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.